Good evening, everyone. Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Shaw joining you for this edition of Nate at 8. Thank you, as always, so much for tuning in. Coming up, we're going to be talking about some warmer temperatures ahead for this week. It is not nearly as cold as we go into this weekend. And on top of that, we're tracking more precipitation. But yes, this time around, with those warmer temperatures in place, our precipitation type is going to be as rain. And we're going to track two periods here, really, where we're dealing with some rain here near term. The first arriving for tomorrow, the second then going into Friday. So we'll map out some timing of that rain for this week as well. So let's jump into things. Starting off with the temperatures. Of course, today we already felt it. It was warmer, highs climbing back in the 40s. And now we're seeing our temperatures fall back in the 30s. Now, the bulk of cooling tonight is occurring now here early on tonight. Once we see more clouds spill in for the second half of tonight, temperatures are likely going to be stable. So where we're seeing these temperatures start to fall mid lower 30s is where a lot of us are going to end up for that low. So again, we've already seen a lot of our cooling tonight here early on. Temperatures become more stable, and ultimately most of us we're going to hold closer to that freezing mark likely as we do extend into tomorrow morning. You may have noticed even today, but more as of recent, these later sunsets. We are seeing that sunset now past 5 o'clock. We're now in that time of the year past our winter solstice that slowly but surely our days are getting longer. The sun will set past 5:10 p.m. tomorrow. It was right at 5:10 today. It's past 5:10 tomorrow. And then we look from 2 weeks, 1 month, and 2 months ahead from tomorrow. And the sun will set closer to 5:30 on the 20th of this month. By that first week of February, then it's past 5:45 p.m. And then within 2 months, as we go into March, that's when the sun will set even past 6 p.m. So we're starting to see some of those later sunsets upon us. Looking ahead, going over the next couple of months, it's that time of the year that we start to see some later sunsets. 24-hour temperature change was over 15 degrees earlier on into the evening and the afternoon hours. As we saw into Pittsburgh, close to 20 degrees. That was the temperature change not only now, but even earlier in the afternoon as well. Close to 20 degrees difference from what we had yesterday into today. And the warming trend does not stop here. Temperatures are going to further pick up as we advance later on into the week. Yes, the next couple of days, it's similar to what we had for today, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then a further warm up is likely felt Thursday, Friday, Saturday, highs 50s and even close to the 60s by your Friday. Saturday is one of those days where we do have to watch with a cold front passage. It could be a situation on Saturday where the high is more in the morning hours. It's just a matter of fine tuning that frontal passage. Some models are bringing it in more in the morning, some are holding it off to the evening, and that can reflect just how warm we can get on Saturday. Choosing more of that middle road option right now with those highs mid lower 50s on Saturday, but just one of those things to be aware of that we're fine tuning that Saturday may be a day where the highs in the morning, if the front can hold off until later in the day, then our temperatures could get back close to values we had for Friday again on Saturday. Something, unfortunately, we just have to adjust yet with the timing of that front for the beginning of the weekend. Now, by Sunday, we're in the wake of that cold front passage, and temperatures are back in the 30s. And we are looking then cold. Yes, just right back to a cold pattern for next week by this weekend. And we get into really a lot of the same we've seen as of recent the past couple of weeks. Of course, we felt it into Christmas and New Year's from a matter of a week difference, just how much colder it was into New Year's Day with respect to Christmas Day. And we flip-flopping this pattern again. Now we're back to mild this week and again cold next week. So it's very much of that back and forth hot cold pattern here that will continue as we extend over the next couple of weeks, just likely to continue going into next week. So that being said, precipitation this week, yes, we're not tracking a lot of rounds of snow, but we are tracking several rounds here of rain as we go through the weekend. So we're going to be mapping that out now, and we'll see that first round of rain arriving for tomorrow, but it holds off likely for the morning hours. So we're starting off tomorrow dry, but want to watch even by the early afternoon hours. Yes, even talking around noon. This is when we can see those rain showers develop in our area and then just continue occasionally through the afternoon as well as the evening. As you can see on Futurecast, this isn't a steady washout rain for tomorrow. But again, these showers are more occasional for the afternoon, evening hours. It's not a complete washout tomorrow, but it is wet into the second half of your Tuesday. Those showers will carry over into Tuesday night, but then notice how they gradually taper off as we go through the night. Outside of, just as Futurecast is illustrating, not much, but that slight chance for something stray is there Wednesday morning before we then drop off the chance completely going into Wednesday afternoon. So we maintain a slight chance for an isolated lingering shower Wednesday morning, but Wednesday is mainly dry. And then Thursday, most of the day Thursday is going to end up dry as well. The following round of precipitation will likely be moving in by Thursday night. So right at the tail end of the day Thursday, maybe we do spot some additional rain showers moving in there in the evening, but the vast majority of Wednesday, the vast majority of Thursday will end up dry. Friday then is likely the wettest day that we have for this week. Behind that, Saturday. So Friday's more of our washout. Saturday's a wet day. Again, the second half of your Tuesday is wet, but mainly dry Wednesday and Thursday. So we are seeing a bit of an unsettled pattern here, but I would say the only real day is a washout is more Friday, and Saturday, yeah, can be not too far behind Friday, as it looks pretty occasional, but I think there could be at least some dry times in the mix for the day on Saturday. And yes, the first half of tomorrow is likely going to end up dry as well before we see those showers move in the second half of the day. So really, there's really two time periods if you think of it that way. Second half of Tuesday into Tuesday night, and then again Thursday night going into Saturday are the two time periods to watch for some rain that will be with us. And yes, the bulk of precipitation will be as rain. We can see some snow. Probably not too much on the tail end of that system for Saturday night. Maybe we do spot at least a few snow showers, but likely not much. If anything, more of just some flurries on Sunday. But yes, we can spot some snow Saturday night into Sunday as those temperatures are dropping off for the second half of the weekend. Again, not seeing much there in terms of accumulation, something we'll keep an eye on, but certainly anytime we're dealing with that rain and then temperatures drop below freezing, we always just run the risk to at least see some slick spots. So still just use some caution. Looking ahead into the forecast for Sunday, temperatures will likely fall below freezing into Sunday morning. So just one things to watch for. The lingering water on untreated surfaces will freeze, and that can cause some slick spots going into the second half of this weekend. But our temperatures do look to climb above freezing going not only into Sunday, but Monday, Tuesday as well. So, any slick spots will quickly improve. That being said, going in throughout the day Sunday, and again, maybe some slick spots redeveloping depending on if we do see a couple snow showers in the mix with those flurries on Sunday, and then back to, well, plenty of sunshine Monday. So nothing of an issue there throughout the day Monday. Sunshine in combination with highs above freezing. But a little too early to call for certain any wintry impacts, but that's what it's looking like now for the second half of this weekend. And again, just for mainly rain for this week. It's mild with rain, mild relative to this time of the year when normal highs are in the 30s. We've got 40s, 50s coming our way. And again, Friday likely not too far from the 60s. It looks to be our warmest day. And Saturday, again, it's just a matter of timing that frontal passage. It could be a situation where highs are in the morning. Could be a situation where we do see the afternoon high and the front doesn't pass until the evening. We'll get better idea of the timing here over the next few days. As we get closer to Saturday, we can fine tune the timing of that frontal passage. And as often with the timing of this frontal passage, the high temperature could fluctuate. We may adjust that as well, bumping that further up if the frontal passage is later in the day, and then keeping it roughly the same if it is earlier on to the day. So it's just a matter of fine tuning that as well as we get into Saturday. One of those situations on Saturday where the temperatures could be unconventional in that way, right? It's not morning low, afternoon high. Not necessarily following those guidelines on Saturday with that cold front passage. Shane, hi. Hope we get to 70 and probably coming up short, but again, I do think we have the potential, Shane, to get in the 60s on Friday. I think there is that potential. Probably just a wish, though. Again, not too far from it. We're not. I don't think we're getting there, but at least getting back close to the 60s. I think on Friday. Cold next week. We'll see if our flip flop pattern doesn't continue. Maybe the week after that, then maybe we could sneak in a day to 70 degrees. Austin, good evening. Happy 2026. Hard to believe it's here, right, Austin? Hard to believe. 2026. Yesterday night's moon looked very funky, talking about the full moon for this month. Don't know what was covering the moon last night. I'm not sure, Austin. I'm not sure what was covering the moon last night. Maybe some high level clouds. I think that we did have some of those more wispy cirrus clouds. Anytime we're dealing with some of the high cloud cover, you can get that a ring around the moon just due to the way that light interacts with the ice crystals suspended high up in the atmosphere within those thin, wispy cirrus clouds, and that can give that optical effect there, where it looks like that ring around the moon. Very cool. And I did spot some of that last night. Maybe that's what covering the moon that made it look funky. Could very well be that, and you may have spotted a ring around the moon as well. As I did note that last night. In fact, some of you chimed in even some pictures of that as well, seeing that ring around the moon. Pretty cool effect to spot. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Shane says we were supposed to have a blue moon, so we might have saw that. Yes, we saw that. We had our full moon for this month occur earlier to the month. We saw our full moon here. January's full moon is a super moon, I believe, as well. Just meaning that it's occurring closer to moon's perigee, at the point where the moon is closest to Earth and its orbit around Earth. So, when anytime you have the point where the moon is closest to the Earth, if the full moon occurs near that point, it's called a super moon. Which really, to the naked eye, it's not too much of a difference, but technically, it's a little brighter, a little bigger than a typical full moon when we're dealing with that super moon. So, pretty cool to spot. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it as always. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you all coming up here, News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11 for the latest. And of course, for the next edition of Nate at 8, we're going to be tracking some of those lingering showers tomorrow evening. Again, keep in mind the showers return early tomorrow afternoon. Our latest on those showers for tomorrow night as well, again, as that next round of rain going into Friday. Of the latest timing of that rain into your Friday. That's all coming up with that next edition of Nate at 8. Have a great night.